I had recently graduated and, was starting to apply to law schools, and I was doing some home brewing. I started that towards the end of college, and I actually was working the jewelry center at the craft center. I actually was in the jewelry studio, and one of the founders, Ron Carlson, came out and said, for the craft center, said, "Hey, I hear you make your own beer. When are you going to bring it in to let me try?" So I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll bring it in." And he goes, "Hey, do you have any interest in teaching a beer class here?" So I actually started teaching a little homebrew class. Some of the first students of the class were like Chris White, who ended up founding White Labs, and we became brewing partners at the beginning. I was lucky enough to be able to just sit in his lab and geek out on everything he was doing. And while he was in there, working away, I'd go through the drawers just looking at all the different glassware and stuff. We would be in there plating yeast, and watching him work on what he was actually supposed to be working on, it was so correlated to what I was interested in that we had this kind of parallel existence in the lab together. So 92 was when the home brew shop opened, and Jack's whole goal with opening up a home brew shop from day one was to open up a brewery. It took 4 years for that home brew shop to kind of generate enough revenue to get enough money together to where we could put in our first brew house. We were always trying to go out of our way to help the people that liked our beer, So and then the awards didn't hurt,
Right.
Winning the awards along the way. And I knew that there was no distillery in San Diego, and there hadn't been what I think as far back as since Prohibition. So I got together with some friends who had some equipment kind of laying around, and we took a fermenter and flipped it upside down and got it working as a still. The first still we ever got was this one here. This is our homemade still. Me and a friend of mine welded this thing up.
Yeah, I can see those welds there.
Yeah, and it actually was the original still that we got into the business with. It's what I made every batch on back, 10 years ago or so. The distillery had been up and running for about 10 years, winning tons of awards, best of shows. Cutwater essentially was broken away with the sale, and this was in the works as we were still considering Ballast Point's kind of next step into the distilling world. We were lucky enough to have this kind of break free and have a similar team to who we had over there kind of come over and start this project. Just looking at the equipment, to me, it's like it's art, pieces of art, and that is a craft in and of itself, the people that make this stuff.
As well as the thing in the glass,
Yeah,
right?
all the way to the glass, yeah.